UBC, inspiring Uganda.
It is the last month of 2023, and for sure it has been a worthwhile journey for the Business Roundup. We pride in keeping you informed and sometimes entertained. I'm your host, Dennis Igoa, and straight to the highlights. Alcohol industry players cry foul over the proposed alcoholic industry bill. Uganda hosts the first ever Women International Badders Conference. Herbert Byaruhanga, a renowned badder, talks to BRU. Bank of Uganda projects economic growth at 6% in the financial year 2023-2024 and 7% in the medium term. And on the regional scene, Malawi and Zambia have been admitted into the Central Corridor. Keep the TV remote away from the children because it's time for serious business. Uganda Alcohol Industry Association has met with some members of the executive and aired their grievances over the recently reintroduced Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill. The bill seeks to regulate the manufacture, importation, sale and consumption of alcohol in the country. Mario Nawori has the details.
On the 14th of November 2023, Tororo District Member of Parliament Sarah Opendi reintroduced the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill. In the face of the proposed legislation, members of the Uganda Alcohol Industry Association have sought audience with the executive on the matter.
Looking at restrictions in hours of sale, that we're supposed to start selling alcohol from 5 to 10 p.m. on weekdays, and then on weekends we should be selling from midday to midnight. And yet, Honorable Ministers, the night economy starts at 10 p.m. And what so, time? Thereabout. It's basically it's basically it because people are coming from work. By the time they maneuver the traffic jam and all that, the bars will be closed. So that means we will not sell. That means the manufacturers will literally close.
They warn that if the law is passed as is, the consequences will be dire not only to the sector players, but the economy at large.
Once you touch on the highest taxpayer, what happens? There is a whole value chain that is going to get problems. From the artist, me, I'm an artist, I've been a brand ambassador of drinks, where some of the artists don't drink, but they're brand ambassadors because that is how they earn. Now, when the value chain is cut in bits, that artist is not going to earn. Now I'm talking on the side of the artist. These breweries are the ones that do the shows. Just imagine a brewery that is cut on hours. It will be cut in production. It is going to be cut in promotion. So the shows in Kampala that you're seeing, the shows in the village that you're seeing, sponsored by these breweries, are going to be cut off.
Three things are needed. There is need for deeper studies. Maybe our own arguments are not solid enough. Maybe the Honorable Pende's arguments are not solid enough. There needs to be other independent studies to verify the implications of the law the way it's proposed. So we need studies, we need awareness, and above all you need education, because learning from the lessons of HIV/AIDS, from COVID, you need education more than anything. Because if I decide to drink under the bed, how will you find what I'm doing? But we want such a person to know that don't drink under the bed, it will harm your health. You should drink in the open.
The consultative meeting at the Ministry of Finance was co-chaired by Evelyn Anite, the State Minister for Investment, and David Bahati, the State Minister for Industry.
This issue of alcohol has got both economic, social and health impact to our society. So we're going to have to look at them and dissect and see how we can strike a balance. From the economic perspective, we want to say that we attracted you in this country and licensed you, and therefore we will have to work with you to see how it doesn't impact on the health of the citizens. You do agree with me that it actually impacts on the health of the citizen, especially the younger generation. And you have mentioned that it is those 65% who are not regulated, and I take that point very seriously. So you've challenged us as executive that, look here guys, you have to regulate the 65% of the manufacturers who are actually causing health damage in the lives of the people, because then their product is not certified, and that means that we have to crack the whip even before the bill is passed.
Would you want the bars to be open 24 hours and 7 days? Or would you have some minimum restriction to allow also work? Because what we are seeing around the country, there is some concern of members of parliament and all of us that we are starting to go to the bars very early. You find some people going to the bars at 7 a.m. and then there is a lot of work to be done. So what do you say? Issue of age, for example. The age, I would want you to also tell us whether you think there is need for legislation in your industry, some aspects, or regulation. Need to legislate it in some aspects. And one of the areas that we all agree, I think the common ground, is really the age of drinking.
Recent statistics show that members of the Uganda alcohol industry contribute about 35% of the national tax base, a contribution that cannot be taken for granted, says the State Minister for Investment. The association members are requesting for the legislators to critically analyze the potential ramifications of the bill before going ahead with the process of enactment.
Small subcontractors in Uganda's oil and gas subsector took center stage at the 4th Annual National Content Conference in Kampala. Organized by the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum and the Petroleum Authority, the two-day conference sought to address the critical needs of contractors and subcontractors, shedding light onto the opportunities and challenges within the industry.
A diverse array of companies from various sectors of the oil and gas supply chain have gathered in Munyonyo for the conference.
To advertise these opportunities.
The first day of the conference revealed that contracts worth over $7 billion have so far been signed, showcasing a substantial leap in the economic landscape of the oil and gas sector.
Ugandans are dominating the supply of local goods which are fit for the industry. For example, in the agriculture sector, there are little imports of food into the oil and gas sector. Most of the food which is eaten is locally produced food.
There are some contracts that Ugandans cannot handle in the oil and gas sector because they are big and the sector is new. But as I indicated, Ugandans are beginning to get into the more complicated sectors. So we are seeing an improvement on that.
Ugandan companies have so far secured contracts totaling to around $1 billion, a noteworthy achievement in local participation.
That is 25% of the total value of contracts that are signed. And we are saying, how do we increase that from 1.2 billion to the 40% that we are looking out for?
Discussions during this conference highlighted the paramount importance of companies adhering to high standards and quality in their supplies to secure lucrative contracts.
National content is not about lowering, I would say, the expectation on quality. The quality is the international, I would say, oil and gas standard for quality. And we are very happy to have seen that, I would say, most of the contractors working for us have delivered this quality. But it's something that you have to keep in mind for the new joiner.
However, some smaller companies face hurdles in entering the industry.
I wanted to see aviation opportunities, and I've not seen, and that's why I wanted to come here, because that travel back, the time that you're going to Western Road, don't you need aviation contractors or services?
Whereas there is a noticeable increase in the registration of local companies on the National Supply Database, smaller enterprises express a lack of sufficient information and awareness regarding available opportunities.
Actually, after here, let me come to you and you give me the right information.
The theme of the two-day conference revolves around optimizing national content in Uganda's oil and gas sector during the construction phase. Wadulo Mark Arnold in Munyonyo.
200 business development service providers have undergone training on quality improvement and standards of small and medium enterprises. The training, titled Growth Partners Program, is aimed at improving competencies of growth enablers necessary to impact business growth and boost productivity. During the training, business development service providers were equipped with information on Uganda's newly formulated business development support standards and resources needed to drive sustainable business growth.
Business development services standards is looking at your internal operations as a company. How can you improve the efficiency and effectiveness of it to make sure that you're more profitable and you're even attractive? You can partner with someone. Or if you get a commercial loan, you're going to use it well. If you have people, you're going to attract them and retain them and get the best out of the human resource that you have. That's what the standards, the standards that we're talking about, is internal efficiency of your SME.
The program, spearheaded by the Private Sector Foundation Uganda, is availing the small and medium-sized enterprises with a diverse range of competent BDS providers across the country to optimize production and productivity.
Because we think that this particular space is a professional space, which not just anyone should get involved in. It needs to be done professionally, it needs to be done with love and with understanding of who the client consumers are and how you can help them to grow.
We are here because we are one of those people who are working to eliminate youth unemployment in this country. We know that government employs under 1 million people, and all of those who graduate and those who drop out will never find themselves into government jobs. But we can work with young people because Uganda is a highly entrepreneurial country. We can work with the young people to start micro enterprises, and then we grow those micro enterprises into small enterprises, and then we grow them into medium enterprises, so that we support government to increase the employment opportunities for the young people in this country.
The beneficiaries were selected through a competitive application and evaluation process based on their ability on enterprises development.
A lot of companies in Uganda, it's not like they do not want to comply with standards, they just don't know what the standards are. Then sometimes there are just no standards to begin with. There's no government standard for you to comply with. So what do you comply with? So that's why you see we took a two-pronged approach, which is work with UNBS to develop this standard so that it is there, so that the private sector knows what standard must I comply with. Because we're always talking about standards and standards, but if it's not there, what am I supposed to comply with? And yet everyone is telling me I am below standard. But what is the standard? So the fact that there was no standard was an issue. So that's which is one of the gap that we took. Then the second gap is people do not know how to comply with the standard. So that's the second gap we're dealing with.
Working closely with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives and entities such as Uganda National Bureau of Standards, the project implementers are supporting the development of quality standard by streamlining BDS service delivery. Bank of Uganda has maintained the central bank rate at 9.5%. This is as per the monetary policy statement for the month of December 2023 issued by the acting governor, Michael Ating-Ego. Inflation continues to moderate, reflecting the tight monetary and fiscal policies, favorable weather, bumper crop harvests, as well as relative exchange rate stability, says the acting Bank of Uganda governor, Michael Ating-Ego. He made the observation while issuing the monetary policy statement for December 2023.
The MPC noted that inflation has bottomed out with significant uncertainties in the horizon. Therefore, keeping the CBR unchanged is necessary to anchor inflation around the target in the medium term, while at the same time supporting growth in private sector investment and socio-economic transformation.
The MPC maintained the central bank rate at 9.5%, a decision reflecting the assessment of the inflation outlook in the light of the incoming economic data.
Consequently, the MPC decided to maintain the CBR at 9.5%, the bands on the CBR at +/- 2 percentage points, and the margins on the CBR for the rediscount and the bank rates at 3 and 4 percentage points respectively. As a result, the rediscount and the bank rates will remain at 12.5% and 13.5% respectively. Further monetary policy action will depend upon the incoming data and the evolving risks.
Low inflationary environment is expected to support recovery in household real incomes, spurring consumer spending in the last month of the calendar year and into the new year.
We are seeing better weather now, the ongoing rainfalls, and which could help in terms of agricultural production. And I think we're already seeing this feeding through in terms of food crop prices. And we believe that the agricultural sector will recover strongly in coming months. And remember that this also feeds into the industry. As agricultural production increases, also the aspect of food processing improve. And I think these are largely the exports, Governor said, are going into, some of these are going into the regional market.
Bank of Uganda projects economic growth at 6% in the financial year 2023-2024 and 7% in the medium term. However, the outlook is subject to uncertainties, including slower than expected global and regional growth and unfavorable global financial markets, among others. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business. Uganda successfully hosted the first ever International Women Birders Conference from the 6th to the 8th of this month in Kampala. In this BRU interview with Mario Nawori, Herbert Byaruhanga, a renowned birder, shed some light about Uganda's birding subsector.
Birding or bird watching is the observing of birds either as recreational activity or as a form of citizen science. A bird watcher may observe birds using visual enhancement equipment or using their naked eye. Birding is a tourism product that has grown exponentially over the years in Uganda, says Herbert Byaruhanga, a renowned birding expert.
Africa, with over 50% of the global species, we have a lot of bird watchers coming to this continent. And I can tell you that Uganda now is well positioned among the top 10 birding destinations in the world. And of course Africa, I think we are maybe among the top 3 or top 5 because we really have infrastructure developed. We have got bird watchers, we have got information about the birds, and that's very important. So we are heading for a big share.
It's therefore timely and of immense benefit for the country to be chosen to host the one-of-a-kind International Women Birders Conference.
Women are coming in to make sure they make a signature event in Uganda. It has started. It's also important when we talk about gender equality, gender sensitivity. Uganda has been in the forefront really of bringing women into the mainstream businesses and leadership in other areas, and this adds on what we've been doing as a country to show people that we don't only talk about women emancipation, but we do it.
Uganda's rich and diverse flora and fauna makes it one of the best birding destinations in the continent, and globally, vast species of birds fly in from around the world throughout the year, and so far, at least 1,100 species have been recorded. However, it's not all rosy as it may seem. The niche birding sector is facing numerous challenges ranging from hunting, lack of public awareness, and poor conservation. Studies have shown that bird-watching tourists spend more money in an economy than other tourists, mainly on services because they stay longer in the field and also require specialized equipment, among others.
So we need to really look at putting in a lot of money to market this product, because the birders stay longer in the country. They spend 20 days, 30 days. We've started seeing people coming in for 60 days, 70 days, staying in East Africa, and that's very, very important. We need also to look at the tour operators who do this kind of work. It's something that grows slowly and steadily, but we need people who are dedicated. So it's something we need to invest in.
Mariana Wuri and Dennis Sigoa for UBC.
In our corporate news, GA Insurance, a local player in Uganda's insurance sector, has repackaged its motor comprehensive insurance product, including new features that make it easy for customers to stay covered when a vehicle is stolen or damaged. Makwadulo has the details.
The announcement took place during a press engagement hosted at GA Insurance's offices in Kampala. Shakira Mujuni, the Chief Executive Operations, highlighted the meticulous consideration given the latest risks faced by car owners, particularly in the festive season.
Our product gives you a free tracker that is installed, and on top of the free tracker, you also get a 15% discount off the ordinary 4% that we charge for motor comprehensive. Because of the season we are in now, we are in the festive season, and we all know that normally during the festive season there is high crime rate. Some of the people are traveling up country, others are traveling out of the country, and they leave their assets behind for those that are traveling out of the country. And for those that are traveling up country, they are going with the same assets that we are insuring.
Mujuni acknowledged the prevailing perception among car owners that motor insurance is needlessly expensive, a sentiment she thinks otherwise.
We are not yet even at a 1% in Uganda, and this is all because of the appreciation for insurance. The market has not yet embraced insurance to the levels of the Western world. They still categorize it as a luxury, money that would have been spent in something else, or one would rather say, instead of giving my car 2 million, I would rather invest it. But when will it grow to give you the 30 million that you would have to pay? But if you buy your car today and tomorrow it is stolen or completely damaged, that is when insurance comes into play, because regardless, even if you've insured today and tomorrow something unfortunate happens, we compensate.
GA Insurance is a subsidiary of the GA Insurance Group, headquartered in Kenya, with over 70 years of business experience. And this move aligns with their dedication to providing reliable and innovative insurance solutions, ensuring that their offerings evolve in tandem with the changing needs of their customers. Wadulo Makanold for the Business Roundup.
In our regional news, Malawi and Zambia have been admitted into the Central Corridor as new members of the Sub-Regional Transport and Trading Bloc. This was at a ceremony that took place in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania's commercial capital. Let's have a look.
But we just don't come in to look at how to benefit from this. As a country, we also believe that we'll be able to add value to this agreement and this agency, because as a country, we are also thinking very serious as far as connectivity and trade facility is concerned. We are in the process of rebuilding our railway line with SGR, because we believe SGR is the way to go now.
We were 5, now we are 7. This means that we get the new opportunities for the business. This means that we need to facilitate the trade, not only within the 5 initial members of Central Corridor, but to others, to upcoming members, to the new members of Central Corridor, which are the Republic of Malawi and the Republic of Zambia. We need to be strong, and to be strong, we need to be together.
I want to challenge ourselves as a corridor that we should not only look at using our corridor as an import corridor. We should look at our corridor both as import and export. I think in most of our cases, when we talk of volume of trade, we are talking of the imports coming through. But how much are we exporting through the corridors? That is our challenge. We should challenge ourselves so that we don't only import, but also export in the same measure, if not exceeding beyond what we're importing. Otherwise, we shall continue being destination for finished products from elsewhere. We need to improve on our trade balance.
We owe all our neighbors a duty to be able to facilitate trade and through connectivity. And so Zambia is happy to play this role, to use our infrastructure to promote trade and investment and indeed connectivity in the region, but also that this central corridor gives us access to the Great Lakes region and the eastern part of Africa.
Tourism is to talk about the beauty of the country. It is unfortunate when a leader, a Ugandan more so, because despite our political, yes, because we are in this room, I don't know how many belong to NRM, so many belong to FDC, so many belong to NUP, and we are surviving on this sector. And the only way we can market is by telling people that Uganda is a good country to visit. But when you see a political leader, I would say even out of naivety really, because we fund these political parties. For instance, what my brother was saying in the UK about how Uganda is so terrible. We even government deliberately even supports, gives money to these parties. And you use it to travel outside and speak all kinds of bad things about Uganda as if now you've turned European. And you don't know how much implication it has on us. This is a sector employing 1.5 million Ugandans. So what happens if foreigners are no longer coming here? Do you know how much loss it causes us? So people should not play about them because they are in certain political parties. This is a business that we contribute almost 8% of the GDP in this country as tourism. So it's important that people start being more patriotic and not being so personal.
Has it ever crossed your mind why the ATM machine ejects the ATM card first and not the cash? Think about it. Otherwise, thanks for being part of another insightful episode of the Business Roundup. Keep it locked on UBC for more enriching content. From the team and I, it's adios.
UBC